I have said on more than one occasion that Diana is awesome, but Diana is awesome. She got this for me. I can't remember if it was for my birthday or for something else, but she got Earthspark Deluxe Soundwave for me because we live in a wasteland of actually going to a store to buy figures in New York. So, yeah, I've said this before. The thing about New York is you can find anything you want unless you're looking for something specific. I hate trying to toy shop in our neighborhood, in this city, in this state even. It's such a pain. But anyway, she got one of these for me. She bought it online, overpaid for it, but she said she didn't pay too much for it, so I don't know what that means. But yeah, never found this guy in stores. Have never seen one in the wild. But I've got one because Diana is awesome. And, well, first of all, yes, he's got the gigantic windswept bell bottoms going out the back there, which I'm not a fan of, but I don't think anyone is. But, like, this design for Soundwave is really cool. I love how angular he is. He looks mean. And there's just enough color breakup with like the plastic between the blues and light grays and dark grays. And then you also have these nice paint details that hit just the right spots for like the feet and the forearms. And of course, all the really nice detailing going on in the chest with that gold trim that obviously evokes his cassette deck chest. But I also really like these silver bits that overlap it a little bit. It almost makes it look like they're clamps holding it shut. I don't know why I like that so much, but I do. And he even has his little shoulder cannon thing up here, which unfortunately, due to the way it attaches, you can't really rotate it. Like you can, but it's tabbed in here, so by rotating it, you're weakening that connection. But you can make it go up and down. So you get at least a little bit of control there. And if you wanted to, you could untab it and plug it into his hand if you wanted to be a weirdo. And I appreciate that you can do this. I think it looks bad because the handle is so long because of how it has to peg onto the back. But you can do it. I never do, but you can. But yeah, this is a really cool looking Soundwave. I really like the look of this, and I think outside of him being a spy drone in Prime, I think this is probably one of the most sensical, as in not nonsensical, alt modes that you could give a modern Soundwave. He's not a stealth bomber, he's like a stealth fighter, right? Or is it just a spy plane? I don't know. But point is, I feel like this is another really good fit for Soundwave. And he is super cool looking. Again, I love all the detailing on this guy. I love the angular design that they added everywhere. Dig the big pointy shoulders, as always. And the head is very Soundwave, but a little bit more angry. Like with the ears, I guess, sticking out of the sides. And now I'm wondering, is this stressed plastic? Shouldn't be stressed, because I don't think there's anything with how he transforms that would make that stress, but whatever. Anyway, it looks cool. I like the angles. They angled him a little bit. They angled the facial features a little bit more, that I think almost like, if you look at just the blue bits, it almost evokes the silhouette of a stealth fighter. So it almost kind of makes his face, again, just the blue bits, kind of makes it look a little bit like the alt mode he turns into, which is neat. I also like that they did the silver on the side there. I don't know, I think this is neat because it's like an inversion of the classic Soundwave head color placement, at least around the mouth section, because usually almost the full head is blue, and then the mouth plate is silver. But here, the mouth plate is blue, and like the bits around it are silver. I just think that's cool. And of course, the bright red, angry-looking, angular red visor is super nice. And this is just a very, very cool Soundwave design. Now let's talk about articulation. Actually, I'm going to move this because I keep bumping it. But articulation is pretty decent. The head can kind of look up, can't really look down. it goes side to side a tiny bit, but it's mostly just for looking left and right. But you get weirdly more articulation range in other directions when you rotate the head. It's how it's designed. You've got a hinge and a ball joint for the shoulder assembly, so the shoulder can go out like this. You can wiggle it around a bit, and of course it can go around. But then this joint also allows the arm to go out, so use those in conjunction and you can get all the way out. You get a bicep swivel, you get 90 degrees of elbow bend. The fists are on ball joints for the transformation, so that means they can rotate, which puts him above a number of modern figures, kind of. That got untabbed. The waist does rotate, which is sweet, and he has a flap. I'm just noticing this now. He has a flap. Okay, well, it's not coming out, but you can see it, right? Just like this. It's like a hinge here, and this front panel is a separate piece of plastic that's like pegged in here. That's weird. I guess it just has something to do with the way they had to assemble him. But anyway, you get the waist rotation that it does actually go all the way around if the legs are straight. If the hips are out a little bit, then it'll bang into the back plate here. But like if they're in, it goes around all the way. Legs can go out past 90. You get a just above the knee swivel, which I am fine with as long as it's not below the knee. You have a 90-degree bend at the knee. That's not really going to go any further than that in robot mode, at least. And it does kind of like, it stops here and then it kind of snaps into place. But you can play with the tolerances for kind of in-between angles. And the feet are on big ball joints, so you get a pretty darn good amount of tilt to the side as well as forward and back, but then it's also on like a hinge here that doesn't really do anything for the robot mode, so forget I said anything. But yeah, transformation. The articulation on this guy is pretty darn good. I always find it interesting when the Earthspark figures are weirdly on par with, if not better than, the non-Earthspark figures, because these are the ones that are generally like the lower budget. The, for young kids, not for kids, because it's all for kids, but for young kids stuff. I don't know. Here he is with a very good and very underrated Soundwave, the Reactivate version with Reaper labels. And yeah, this I've said this many times before, but this is a fantastic Soundwave, and he's also way taller than Earthspark Soundwave. Just something to think about, I guess. Here he is with Legacy Quake, who is a gigantic brick of a deluxe, so I think that's fine. Now, to transform this guy, I'm going to undo this and start doing things. So I'm going to pop the chest down, rotate the head up and into the chest like that, and then this will fold back around and tab back into place, and I don't see how this would be stressing the horn. I guess this must have been something to do with like when it was being made in the factory or something, I don't know. Anyway, the head folds up. It's going to untab anyway, so I'm just going to untap it now and rotate it 180 degrees, and this will just hang out back here. The shoulders come up and we'll tab together, and then we'll also kind of push back down to close this off. Now the fists will come in this way, and they come in, and I think this tab should go into this little slot on the forearm there, like so, and the fists kind of angle back like that. So angle the fist back, bring this down, tab this in, which is again kind of weirdly snug. I don't know why I said again. I didn't say it the first time, but there we go. Now going to unfold the legs, and boy do they fold. So going to unfold them like this. the way they angle, you want to, trying to remember. Okay. Yeah, you want to rotate them this way because you actually want to do a 180 on the waist. And now this will tuck in and around, and these flaps will come over and will fill in all of this stuff here. So this comes around, and there is a tab here that tabs in here. There's a tab on the forearm that tabs in here. So it plugs in quite a few places. So just kind of squish that all down. And same on this side, bring it in and squish it all down. There we go. This will shift backwards and will tab in. There is basically some tabs up here that will tab in back here, and that helps to fill in the back portion of the vehicle mode. These bits, you're supposed to point the feet down and then rotate them like this, which is fine. You can do that. Uh-oh. There we go. My light. You can do that. What I prefer to do is go the other way, because they can do it. They don't snap in, like they snap in here and they snap in here. They don't snap in going this way. But if you go this way, I feel like this helps to cover up the fists, and it just keeps the robot mass kind of centralized rather than spreading it out, in my mind, unnecessarily to the wings here. So that's what I do. It is entirely a me thing, but that's what I do. And yeah, okay, I was going to say maybe you can do it this way, but no. So you do that, swing it around, and finally, I'm going to fold out the wingtips and fold down the tail fins. And there is Earthspark Soundwave's really cool stealth fighter, whatever, stealth drone alt mode. I really, really like this. I think this is neat. This, you can't really do anything clever with the with the weapon storage, unfortunately. I kind of wish there was a way to plug it in down here or something. There are some grooves in the shoulders here that look like that should be able to accommodate something, but it doesn't. So the only option you really get is to plug it in up here, and that's fine. It just looks kind of awkward to me. I do wish that there was more you could do with it. Also, this hinge here, I kind of wish you could do more with that, because it doesn't really strike me as all that necessary in robot mode and doesn't really have any kind of use in vehicle mode either. So I don't know. But like something, heck, if this back here was like a 5mm port, you could plug this down here, which I think would look better, but whatever. Point is, this is cool, and it doesn't show up all that well in the blue background, but whatever. The detailing here, though, is pretty sparse. You get the silver just above the intakes, the red for what is presumably the cockpit, windshield, whatever, glass, and then the Decepticon logo right up top there, and a bright white, which shows really nicely on the dark blue. But like that's kind of it. Aside from this thing up here, you're not really getting much. It's just a big boomerang of blue with some dark black on it, or dark gray, not dark black, dark gray on it. But still, it's neat. It's an appropriate shape, I think. And the transformation is interesting. I do kind of dig how the legs work. It's very Titan's Return Skull Cruncher. Not Skull Cruncher. What is wrong with me today? Mind Wipe. Titan's Return Mind Wipe. But yeah, I think it's cool. And also the way this all works makes me think of that weird tablet Soundwave that came out several years back. How you just have this awkwardly folded up robot with a bunch of panels over it, and it actually kind of works. But I don't know. I like this. Wingspan is impressive too. Like you bring in gears and this looks gigantic. It's flat. It is incredibly flat, but it looks gigantic, which I think is neat. Oh, and as for this thing, this is fine. I like the angles they used on this. I do think it's a shame just how empty one side is, and this is the side that faces out in robot mode, because that's how this is all attached, and that kind of bums me out. I kind of wish all this stuff was at least on this side so that it wasn't as obvious for the outside, like for the robot mode, but whatever. I don't know. It's a me thing. But the shape is cool. I like that they added these like prongs on the end. It makes it look really mean. And I like the mixture of blue, silver, and red going on here. I feel like they didn't need to get that hard with it, or go that hard with it, but they did. They even have like these tiny little bits of red on the top here for those little lights or whatever they are, which is cool. And yeah, that is Deluxe Earthspark Soundwave. This is a very cool figure, and also I would have been not happy if I paid the 80 plus, I can't believe that nonsense, the $80 plus asking price that some of those, let's just call them scalpers on eBay, were asking. Like, this is a very cool figure, and I'm very glad to have it, but this is not an $80 Soundwave at all. It's just really sucks how bad distribution was for this guy, and how bad it continues to be, because I don't think you can find this guy in stores anymore even. Also, when you're going back in robot mode, there's a tab here that goes into here to hold the leg together, which is nice. But yeah, that sucks. That really sucks. And I feel like maybe distribution has gotten better with this kind of stuff. Kind of, but it's really hard for me to tell, because in my area, it's like, what distribution? We get nothing. Like, we quite literally get nothing. The one place that I used to be able to buy regular retail Transformers from no longer carries them. So I'm just SOL there. And if I want to try my luck at our local comic shop, I can make the rather lengthy walk down there to see if they have anything, but most of the time they don't, and when they do have stuff, it's kind of overpriced, which I assume is because it's a small local shop and they're not getting the same bulk purchase prices as like major retailers. But yeah, it sucks, because this is a cool figure, and I think anyone who likes Soundwave would be silly to not get him for the $20 MSRP. But paying more than that, especially a lot more than that, like 4 to 5 times more, is absurd. And I genuinely hope the people that were buying out all of these Soundwaves and overpricing them on eBay never get a good night's sleep for the rest of their lives. But anyway, that is enough of that. This is a cool figure, just not worth the aftermarket asking prices, though I haven't checked to see what the aftermarket prices are on this thing lately. They might be less terrible. I don't know. But yeah, I do think this guy is cool. But that's enough for me. What do you all think of this guy? Whatever your thoughts, feel free to chime in down below. I always enjoy hearing from you all. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and I'm unsure if I'm going to continue recording anymore in this particular batch, so who knows? Maybe the next video will be a completely different format again. We'll see.